The following is rated M for mature.
Feeling about this.
Greetings, Blockade runners, and welcome to episode 5. I apologize for my absence. I assure you I will get to your emails soon. But today, I wanted to talk about some things that have happened over the last few months. Let's start back at E3. Even though many people felt let down since there was no release date given, it was still a very promising event. The biggest thing that caught my attention was when Daniel Erickson said that the game is done, and that they are now in the polishing stage. Even though that can take a while, it was still some really great news to hear. After E3, spirits were very high and fans were very hopeful. Then came San Diego Comic-Con. Since E3 went so well, there were serious speculation that they were going to announce the release date. The morning started with the pre-order announcement, which sent hopes through the roof. Then Stephen Raid put on his conductor hat and fans went crazy. But only a release window was announced. Then the information that was released for the event was confusing. They were announcing new systems that they are working on, or haven't even built into the system yet, including the artificial intelligence for companions, which they weren't even supposed to mention. How did we go from, the game is done, to this? Were they ahead of schedule? Maybe they decided to try and throw as much into the game as they could before launch. That would make sense, and would not be a bad judgment call by BioWare. But now, take a look around. Everything they are talking about now is all considered a post-launch feature. Even certain things that aren't very smart to have as an expansion or a patch. Let's take the controversial same-sex relationships feature. They originally said no. But now they want to put it in, but after launch. I don't really mind if they have it in the game or not. But how is this going to work? I am only hitting on my female companions and then, one day, a magical spell comes over me and I am officially bisexual. What are they going to call it? The Rainbow Pride expansion? Come on, that would be ridiculous. This should be included from the start of my character's development. Also, it was confirmed that they now want to put the dual-spec mechanic into the game, after launch. I could have sworn I watched an interview with someone from BioWare, where they said they didn't want respecking and dual-specking in the game, since they want your decisions to matter. For the life of me I couldn't find it anywhere. If anyone finds it, let me know. They even hinted that they will be making the looking for group system easier to use. Which is great, since they originally said their system was going to be very close to what Vanilla WoW had. Maybe now they will put in the auto-queuing. I know I am throwing a lot of random topics your way, but it's for a reason and belief that I have had, ever since after E3. I unfortunately believe that the game will be pushed back to 2012. And this email I got doesn't help disprove my belief. For privacy reasons I am not stating any names and have blocked out some of the email. But our viewer works for a company that records external investor information for Electronic Arts. He was recently on a conference call that stated that the Old Republic will start revenue generation in their fiscal Q4, which starts January 1st. There were also comments like, the Old Republic could benefit from a later launch. Do you guys remember when I covered the pre-order? When I stated that it was handled poorly? And how it seemed like a scare tactic? This could be why. The email states that, if they would have revealed the game would be released in 2012, the pre-orders would have been cut in half. That could very well hammer the stock price, which also happened to Mass Effect 3. Putting serious pressure on the company. The Electronic Arts profit model for future guidance is heavily dependent on pre-orders. Can I verify that the person who sent me this is right? No. But that is why I brought it up to Stephen Reid himself. I asked him on Twitter, rumors surfacing about a fiscal Q4 release possibility, taken from an Electronic Arts conference call. Is this a possibility or just garbage? He responded with the classic, "We are targeting a holiday 2011 release." I know most of us out there are saying, "See, he said so himself, 2011 not 2012. But let's take a closer look. Ever since I have been on Twitter, I have seen that he answers a lot of people. He also makes sure to tell everyone if something is fake. There was a letter put out that was also saying that the game would be released in 2012. He did not hesitate to say that it was fake. So why couldn't he tell me that the rumor was garbage? Maybe because it is not. Almost like when they did not confirm, or deny, the leaked pre-order announcement. Let's look at his answer again. Most people are missing the one key word in his statement that will always work in BioWare's favor. Targeting. I point this out because people see holiday in 2011 as a promise. It is not. This statement simply means, we are hoping to have the game out by the end of 2011. And we all need to understand this and stop getting our hopes up. They are becoming masters of written safeguards. Here is an example of how they play with words. I also asked him about the dual-spec mechanic being in the game, simply because I thought they were against it, and I wanted clarification. I used one word wrong, and he ripped it apart. Well, then if it's not a guarantee, why even mention it? Oh yeah, because it's a tease. But they label it all nice, so they can be safe just in case they don't put it in. Is this what is going on with this release date window? Are they saying a sentence with 2011 in it, to keep people interested? Did they lace it with targeting so they can play it safe? Could they have known in San Diego that the pre-order was announced just to generate revenue so they had time to push it back? It would make sense, since pre-order was pushed so heavily on the same day they gave the release window. There is no way to say for sure. But from all the little comments and news made as of late, it really makes me wonder. But I hope not. This information is actually all over the place if you know where to look. Gamasutra, a highly professional game industry website, had an interview with Eric Brown, CFO of Electronic Arts. Brown said that it may be pushed back to 2012. He did officially say that they do in fact have a certain date picked out for release in 2011. So, if that is true, that is some good news. Now, is pushing back the Old Republic to 2012 a bad move? Not at all. It would have been depressing, sure. But from all the info released since E3, it sure seems like they need more time. I know many people would not have been too upset with them pushing it back, if they were honest about it, and maybe not pushed pre-order so hard on them. That is all that the hardcore fans want. Honesty and information. Now, let's talk about beta testing. Who out there wants to get a beta invite? I am sure all of us do. But do half of us want to test? Or do we want to just play the game? That is the true question you need to ask yourself before you selfishly take the invite. This window is for testing the game, not trying out your class before it launches. If you get a beta invite, your job is to break the game. That's right. Go nuts. Try to break everything you can. Look at the textures on the characters walking around. Look at the animations. Check to see if you are getting the right quest. Then, try to cheat the quest. I know it sounds juvenile, but that is what you need to do. It should be work, not fun. If you don't catch these things now, and then BioWare finds them later, it might push the game back further. Get in there and truly test. All I ask is if you are going in there to just leak information, or just to play the game. Don't accept the invite. Let's get it tested and good to go, so it can be released. In closing, I shared quite a bit of info on the state of the game. You can feel free to make your own opinions based on what you have read, saw, or heard. But it just bothers me when they can simply say, yes, There's a possibility we might need to push back to 2012, but we are trying our best to get it out before then. Why must they encode everything in riddles? Who knows? But since there is much 2012 talk going on, I hope I gave you enough info for you to base your own opinions on. Let's pray for 2011, but prepare for 2012. Until next time, this is CR91, signing off.